developed the polio vaccination. Ronald Huckstep, who worked out how to treat the many victims of polio.
In the previous video and the previous picture, you've seen a picture of Jonas Salk and of Ronald Laurie Huckstep. Well, this medical researcher and surgeon had the greatest impact in the 20th century. What are we talking about? We're talking about poliomyelitis. The treatment and basically the cure of this disease was one of the greatest triumphs of the 20th century. Much more than DNA. DNA was described in 1953 actually, and a lot of money has been spent on it, developing, commercializing it. The Human Genome Project was described just a few years ago. But really, it's made a lot of money for Wall Street bankers, but it's really saved few of any lives. Very few of any drugs have come out of it, apart from all the hype. So DNA has been one of the most profound disappointments of the 20th century. Whether it's going to deliver this century, who knows? But the work of Jonas Salk, a New York physician scientist, was incredibly important and achieved a huge amount. In the mid to late 50s, he developed a polio vaccination that overnight stopped young people from dying and becoming crippled from this terrible disease. We tend to forget what an impact this polio did have on our community. Thousands of children died, thousands were paralyzed for life, not just in the US but all across the world. In fact, polio was more feared than a nuclear or atomic bomb attack in the US. Greater fear because it impacted immediately upon people's lives. So Jonas Salk came up with a vaccination, did a trial on it, then overnight the deaths virtually stopped. It's a huge achievement. In fact, it's because it's so important, he didn't actually patent it. When they asked him if he's going to patent it, what did he say? Are you able to patent a son? He's a great man. And he didn't actually get a Nobel Prize, which again is quite a huge oversight. Now, in fact, they took his polio vaccination to Russia. And that's in the 50s, in the height of the Cold War, and vaccinated all the young Russian children in Moscow to prevent the disease. So that's Jonas Salk. He's a real hero, one of the greatest scientists the world has worked at a huge impact. Now I've included with this Ronald Huckstep, because he's a surgeon. All the poor people, the victims of polio, and actually they still occur today in parts of the world, vaccination programs break down, who are crippled, can't walk, can't use their arms, can't earn a living, don't have any dignity. Ronald Huckstep in the 60s and 70s worked out very treatment surgical regimes, straighten out their legs, allow them to stand and walk, straighten out their arms, allow them to use their arms and earn a living and get educated. So there you have it, polio, the great success story of the 20th century. Everything was done pretty much by the 60s, so there's not too much great progress since that time. And the two who are responsible for that, well, Jonas Salk with the vaccination, of course, Sabin with the oral vaccination, and then surgeons like Huckstep who developed the treatment regimes for them. Hope you've enjoyed this.